There's only one psalm that was written by Moses. Did you know that? One psalm, Psalm 90. Psalm 90 is one of the oldest psalms that were ever written, and the Bible clearly says that a prayer of Moses, the man of God. And then he goes on in verse 9 and 10, and he says, "For all our days have passed away in your wrath. We finish our years like a sigh. The days of our lives are 70 years, and if by reason of strength they are 80 years. Yet their boast is only labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away." So if we already understand that 20 and 30 years is not a lifetime of a generation, and if we also understand that the generation of the wilderness that gave us the idea of 40 years, it's not applicable also, now we see that in the book of Psalms, especially in light of the fact that David wrote most of them, and he lived only to the age of 70, maybe 80 in the good case, is a lifespan of a generation. Interesting, very, very interesting. You can clearly see that 70 to 80 years lifespan for the past 3,000 years was probably the case. And David, of course, lived there. And studies were showing basically that, for example, the life expectancy of those living in the United States in 1850 was less than 40 years, but increased to 47 by 1900. And then mushroomed to 77 years by 1999. And by the end of the 20th century, we see that according to the 2002 World Almanac and Book of Facts, the average life expectancy in the United States is 77 years, 74 for male and 80 for females. Wow. You can live without us, we can't live without you. But it's interesting, for Israel it is 79 years, 77 for males and 81 years for females. And the average life expectancy at birth for Israel is projected to be 82 in the years 2025. So, now we understand we're talking about anything between 70 to 80, maybe a little bit more. Anything. So which generation did Jesus, or was Jesus talking about? Now comes the best part of this message. See, some people think, some teachers, they think that when Jesus talked about that generation shall not pass away, he talked about Israel. But I find it very odd. Why? Because he's talking about a generation that are going to watch Israel. He doesn't talk about the fig tree. He talks about the generation that will see the fig tree comes back to life. Wow. So I believe it talks about the believers of the time.